Hello, friends, and welcome back to What the Health with Dr. L, where I share with you brief, less than 10 minutes, evidence-based, backed up by scientific medical research, answers to important health and wellness questions. And today's question says, Dr. L, what kind of food and supplements should I take to grow my muscles, lose fat, and get shredded? In reality, there is a lot of misinformation out there, but you don't want to cut out the protein in your diet. Protein is very, very crucial. You cannot just eat a bunch of carbs and like pasta and fruits and vegetables and think you're gonna build up your muscles, because protein is very important for protein synthesis. If your diet is deprived from enough protein, you're gonna end up with a lot of energy without having your muscle work for it. But when you eat enough protein, then your muscles will be drained because of the process of protein synthesis, and therefore you can use that fuel coming from the carbs to fuel your energy, and therefore you're not going to end up storing fat. How much protein you need to eat per day? I personally recommend that if you want to build your muscles, mainly for bodybuilders, you need to eat at least, you need to get 1 gram of protein per pound. 1 gram of protein per pound. If you are professional, you need to get a little bit more, maybe 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per pound. But the real question is how often I need to eat my protein. I recommend that you eat 5 times a day, because you want to be in a state of positive nitrogen balance. That is the state that stimulates muscle building. So therefore, eating a meal every 4 hours, and that meal would have about 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. So let's say if you weigh 200 pounds and you eat 5 times a day, you're gonna have 40 grams of protein per serving per meal. That will give you about 3 grams of leucine, which is a very important branched amino acid. And in between these meals, you will also need to snack with branched amino acids. Okay, so this is really important that you plan out your meals a day. And once you figure out your protein plan and protein sources, then we're gonna talk about how you're gonna get your energy from carbs and fats. The best sources for protein, of course, is animal protein because it's complete protein. Dairy plays a major role because it has, especially when it comes to whey protein and casein protein, that is probably the best source for whey protein is dairy products. You have the cottage cheese, you have the milk, you have yogurt, plain yogurt, and things like that. But dairy does not only have protein, it also has carbs and it has fat. And how much protein you get out of it versus carbs and fats depends on how it is prepared, how it is filtered, how it is strained. So it's really important to look into this information on the label. But research shows that people who eat more servings of dairy products, they end up having leaner bodies, and they end up having bulkier muscles over time. Other sources of animal protein is, of course, lean meat, steak, chicken, turkey. Salmon is a great source as well. It gives you high quality protein plus omega-3 fatty acids, and the omega-3 fatty acids helps you stay lean over time as well. Now, the source of carbs you will be looking for you will be looking for carbs with high fiber content. So you will be looking for carbs that is low to moderate on the glycemic index, like oatmeal, like brown rice, also sweet potatoes, and things like that. And that's really important. Make sure that the source of your protein has enough fibers. I personally recommend carbs to fiber ratio to be 5:1. So for instance, if you're eating a piece of bread that has 25 grams of carbs, then it needs to have about 5 grams of 5 grams of fibers. If the 25 grams of carbs has like 2, for instance, 2 grams of fibers, that's not good. You want to be within that ratio, 5:1 or 4:1. Otherwise, what's going to happen when you eat your carbs, your blood sugar is going to spike, and after half an hour or an hour, you're going to end up having hypoglycemia, which is not going to help you focus on your exercise. It's not going to provide you with a sustainable source of energy. The last point I want to make is that you want to make sure that you avoid dehydration, because if you get dehydrated, that might actually contribute to the shrinking of your muscles or muscle cells, or your muscle cells might end up being smaller. Plus, when you train, you're gonna sweat, and you're gonna lose fluid and sodium, and you need to replace that, because without enough sodium, you're not gonna be able to retain the water in your body. Therefore, you might go into dehydration. So don't be afraid to add sodium and drink electrolytes. I personally recommend that you get most of your macro and micronutrients from food, not from supplements, because the micronutrients would also help support muscle growth and stimulate muscle synthesis. How much carbs you need, of course, depends on how much you train. If you train twice a day, you definitely need more carbs. If you train 3 times a week, for instance, you're gonna need less carbs. And the amount of carbs, fat, and protein, of course, depends on the time of the day. In the first meal or breakfast, I recommend that you go easy on carbs, so your breakfast would have more of high quality protein and fat, like whole eggs, and low on carbs, especially the carbs that has a lot of fibers, because this would set your metabolism to burn more fat throughout the day instead of burning carbs. These are the basic principles you really need to pay attention to. I hope that was helpful. We can also do a follow-up on that if I get more questions. Until then, you guys take care, stay safe, and stay well. And please remember to subscribe to your channel, and see you next time. All my love.